Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome again to chess tutoring. As I said from the beginning of this study, this is for both beginners, those that are novice, that is, they are already playing but they are novice. Beginners are those that don't even know anything about chess at all, so they want to start up. So this is where you can actually learn. And before I make any video after this particular video, I would like you to probably drop your questions so I can be able to relate or answer it in the next video I'll be making concerning everything we've talked about in the game of chess. So, and if you have probably dropped a question or you've dropped something before in my previous videos, then I'll be answering them in the next video, or probably I might have answered you on the platform. Okay, I said we'll be going to the knight and the pawn game of chess. So from the last video I told us the values of these pieces. The queen is 9 points, the rook 5 points, which is the next most powerful. The knight and the bishop are both 3 points. Then the pawn is 1 point in the game of chess. The king most times, sometimes it's called affinity, sometimes 0, but most time I can tell you it has no point. And the reason is because the motive of the game is to trap your opponent's king. So once the king is being trapped, that's the end of the game. No matter what you have captured, if you like capture all the pieces, it doesn't change anything. The motive is to trap the king. And sometimes the game can end in a draw. So let's dive into this now. Okay, the knight and the pawn. Now in the game of chess, let me talk about pawn first. The pawn is just 1 point, so that's why there are many. So the pawns are the first attackers. So now these pawns, they only move forward, that is like this, 1 square at a time. 1 square at a time. That is, if their pawns are this side, let me use this. If white move 1 pawn, black move 1 pawn. If white move 1 pawn, black, so it is turn by turn. So they only move forward, they don't go to this side. It is not possible. A pawn that is there cannot go to this side, they don't go to this side. They only move forward. And there is a special treatment given to pawns on their first move. If they have not moved at all in the game of chess, let me just show you this. They have not moved at all in the game of chess. They are allowed to move 2 squares on their first move. Now, the pawn moves only 1 square, like I said. For example, this has moved 1 square. 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 Now, every other pawns that has not moved can move 2 squares. That is by your own choice. That is the person playing his choice. So this can decide to move 2 squares forward on its first move only. Then after that, it moves only 1 square. So this can also decide to move 2 squares forward. So if this is going to move again the next time, it's only 1 square. It cannot move 2 squares again. It's only on their first move. This one has moved before, so it can only move 1 square now. Now this one has moved before, this has moved before, this has moved before, this has moved before. They can only move 1 square next step. All these have not moved, so they have the privilege of 2 squares forward. Do we get that? They have privilege of 2 squares forward. 2 squares forward. But all the pieces that are moved cannot move 2 squares. So if this move 1, it cannot move 2 squares again. If this move 1, it cannot move 2 squares again. This has not moved. They can move 2 squares if they want to. This cannot move 2 squares again, but this has not moved, so it can move 2 squares now. This has not moved. It can decide to move 1 square, but it cannot move 2 squares in this situation because there's a pawn on that square. So when there's a situation like this, just like something like this, the pawns cannot move again. They have blocked their self. Do we get it? They have blocked their self. So in the next video, I'll be talking about how they capture, how pieces, all the pieces, how they capture. So this situation, this one cannot move again. It can only move 1 square. But this one still have the privilege of moving 2 squares. This one has moved before, it just moved 1 square. In this situation, these two are block each other, they cannot move. None of them can move. This cannot move. This cannot move. This one can still move. This can still move. You get it? Until they block each other like this, then nobody can move again. For a knight movement, you count 3 squares, but make sure your 3 squares is forming a L shape. Now look at the picture. I think you can see that. If you count it, it is 3 squares and it is forming that L shape. Now look at it. 1, 2, 3. That is L shape. Did you see that? That means this knight from this position can move to this position. L shape. Another L shape. It is not only one L shape I can form. You can count it like this: 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Anyhow you want to count it. As far as from the position of the knight to where it is going, it is forming L shape. Don't forget, from the position of the knight to where it is going, it's forming L shape. The reason why I also told you that it is 3 squares only is because don't count this square. This is 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me do it. 0, 1, 2, 3. Some people may make mistake and say 1, 2, 3. It is wrong. Do you get that? Because you have not made any movement here. So that this one is just like 0 movement. So you have 1, 2, 3. It is still L shape. Did you see that? Just like what I did here. L shape. L shape. Take a look at it carefully. Did you see that? So that is L shape. And the reason why I call it 3 squares is because sometimes when we are learning, mostly beginners, we tend to make mistake with our L shape. Now, for example, look at somebody that wants to make an L shape and is doing something like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not L shape. This is more like a V shape. So it is not 4. And if you are doing 1, 2, 3, this is just a straight line. It's not L shape. 1, 2. This is 2 squares. This is like almost a V also. So it's not an L shape. Sometimes some will even go as far as doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the L. It is actually L, but it is 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 squares. So that's why it must be 3 squares only. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do we get that? So now let me pick out all the L shape of the knights in this game. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So from this position, the knight can decide to jump on any of this place. That's if there is no piece there, actually. If there is no piece there. I'm just using this to denote so we know where the knight can land. And if you look at it, it is on a dark square. It is landing on a light square. So whenever the knight is on a dark square, it can land on a light square. Do we get that? So whenever the knight is on a dark square, it will land on a light square. Do you see that? So if this knight is on a light square, it means it will land on a dark square this time around. So now from this place, well, what are the letter L it can form? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the last one, 1, 2, 3. So these are all the L shapes can go from this position. If it's at this corner, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you notice, if you can actually take back the video to check, the more your knight is close to the center, the more squares it covers for you. Now at this corner, it's only covering 4 compared to before when it was at the center. So you need to take note of that too. So all this is a strategy that I use in the game of chess. So that is all on the knight. I said in the next video we'll be talking about how each piece is captured. So before I go to that, let me quickly just chip in this. Now look at the board. I'm using white to explain this time around. Or let me arrange the pieces. Don't forget the rook, the knight, the bishops, the king and the queen. The queen stays on her color. So now let's look at this. I believe by now you should know the movement of all the pieces on this board. All the pieces. Although you may not know how they capture yet. But before we go into capturing, I'll just chip in this for you. All the pieces on the board captures exactly the way they move. All the pieces on the chessboard captures exactly the way they move, except the pawn. If you notice, I did something like this the last time. Let's say move two squares. They are blocked. Nobody can move again. If they capture the way they move, then somebody would have captured, but they don't capture the way they move. So all the pieces on the board, they capture the way they move, except the pawn. So I'll tell you how the pawn captures. So one other thing I just like to chip in before I close this one is, if you notice, this bishop, they move diagonally. Just only the bishop, they move diagonally. I'm trying to talk about something that's actually peculiar about the bishops. I'll say it again in the next video. Look at this. It's because no matter how long you go diagonally, you can never cross into the dark square. This is a light square bishop. This is a dark square bishop. So the reason is because we have to, so that one can move on the light square, the other can keep moving on the dark square. You can never have this bishop mistakenly go like this. You see what it is wrong. So it is moving diagonally. It will keep roaming on the dark squares, while this will keep roaming on the light squares. Same thing applies to white, the white pieces. So one is controlling the dark squares, one is controlling the light squares. So thank you. The next video, we'll talk more about the capturing.